Hey, everybody. Today we're going to do something kind of weird. We're going to give you a deep dive into what talking in our Discord is like, but probably less weird. Maybe not. I don't know. But we're doing a real anime training, the anime trainer podcast that is just us from the Discord, just members of the Discord. And we talk about topics that we want to talk about, and it could be very random, but it's going to be things about fitness or nerd stuff or whatever, but mostly anime training, because that's what we do. But I'm the anime trainer, if you don't already know, and if you don't already know and you found this podcast, God bless you. But we're going to start introducing everybody else. So
Hello, I'm Ashra.
Hanma.
Yep, I'm Rob.
alrighty, so we've got Ashra, Hanma, and Rob. And they are members of our Discord. Rob has been a member of the Discord, well, a member of like anything that's real anime training forever. I don't know when he started reading the blog, but he's been around for a long time. So um, he's actually also a moderator on the page, I believe, on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah.
You just got to exercise those powers.
Control.
Rob has powers he didn't even know he had. Alrighty. So today, the question that we're going to be discussing is, what does it mean to be strong? That is a topic that is pretty. That's something that comes up a lot in anime in general. Either explicitly asking that question or as a theme. And so anybody who watches any sort of like specifically like shonen type anime, you're going to be confronted with that topic. And so we may have differing opinions on what that means to us or what we've seen it portrayed in media. So that's kind of just the open-ended topic for today. When I think about what does it mean to be strong, the first thing that pops into my head is Hajime no Ippo, because that's a big question for him. And you guys can feel free to jump in whenever you want to.
I mean, there's a weird way they did it in Baki when they were talking in the Raito tournament with Yujiro, and Baki said he didn't care about being strong. He only cared about being stronger than his father. But since his father was strongest in the world, he had to be stronger than that. So that one, but everyone thinks, oh, the Baki is like, oh, just an anime about like, oh, trying to be the strongest when he only cares about being stronger than his father.
Okay, so for Baki, being what does it mean to be strong just means being stronger than Yujiro.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it is a very personal question, like what does it mean to be strong? Because um, you look at different characters from different series, and they have different capacities, they have different goals in whatever they're doing, and it's like it's hard to even compare them across those series. Um, because can he beat Goku though?
Yeah, that's in Kengan Ashra. The main aim of Oma is mainly to prove himself as the strongest in that tournament. To prove his Nico style is the strongest. That is why he entered that tournament. Mainly, they enter the Kengan
Yeah.
fights. Basically,
Actually, well, I don't
that
think it's
enters
about Nika
slightly
style
as a
because he said the
developer.
Nika style didn't really work. That's why he had to use the
Yeah, Nico
advance.
style. Yeah, initially it was not about the Nico style, but
Yeah.
later down the line, I think after the second or third match, yeah.
Okay. So it's a fluctuating topic, like it's a fluctuating question for people too.
It
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, it does. I
It
think
also depends upon the people. What are their goals and basically like that.
and I think it has something to do with your character too, like your own development as a person,
Yeah.
what your values are.
Yeah.
Because like, I've had this question for myself. It's like if you had to ask yourself who's the strongest athlete in the world, you it's hard to answer that question
Mm,
What do
maybe
you?
Yeah.
if you just go
Because
for the
Either you
strongmen,
could go
like Thor,
literally
Eddie
like
Hall, Brian
world's
Shaw.
strongest man.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let's
You
start with
could go
Hanma first.
literally.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you're saying that, then it's actually pretty easy because you can go over to like the strongmen. That's literally the goal of the sport itself. They're athletes to prove themselves as the world's strongest man, like Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw,
Sure,
Thor.
sure, but are those people able to lift the maximum amount of weight in the entire world? What about movements that they may not be able to do?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that unequipped,
Olympic.
there's there's some powerlifters who can lift more than some of the top strongmen unequipped. Like I think it was Kyler Woolen deadlifts more than Brian Shaw without a deadlift suit.
Okay. All right, Ashra.
Yeah.
Uh,
Plus, you have to look at the Olympic lifts, which are mostly technical, and you can constitute them as strength.
okay. And then, Rob, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, I would say the strongman, they're pretty solid in all the lifts besides the Olympic weightlifting stuff. Like even if we were outlifted in like a specific lift, like the bench press or the squat, it would be pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So,
Just
does it mean to be strong to be just all around strong? Like, um, if you say, well, who's the strongest athlete in the world? It's like, okay, do they are they uh the most are they where do they land in the like in the most number of lifts?
I mean,
Like,
without saying that strength is just because lifting, but I
okay,
mean, like for instance, like Thor, he deadlifted 501 kilos, but didn't he fought someone who was a lot smaller than him, and they drew in boxing.
yes, that
So
isn't
even though he's like considered world's strongest, wasn't able to win in a boxing match against.
okay. That is a very important topic, I think, and that kind of um, brings us back to Baki. Because in Baki, the strongest is the one left standing.
I mean, it's all
Yeah.
sex. Depends on what context you're asking the question in.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It's a very that's what I'm saying. I think it's a broad question that has a lot of nuance involved because it's like how are you defining things? What does it even mean?
Yeah,
Like it's the same thing about like speed. We say if I was to ask you who's the fastest athlete in the world,
Pro say Usain Bolt. Right?
Yep.
Usain Bolt.
but that's only at that distance.
Yeah.
At other
The 100
distances, he gets
meters.
beat.
That's endurance.
But when you in longer distances, endurance does come into play. So
Sure, it does, but it's like, but speed is like if you talk about like who can hit the, if you're saying who can be the fastest, like who can, I guess, have the highest velocity, you know what I mean? Like who hits that highest
yeah,
amount of miles per hour or kilometers per hour at a given point, then if you want to define it that way, that's cool. But then it's like, are you doing that in 100 meters, or is that is at some point before you hit 100 meters, or is it like 110 meters? At what point do we start saying like that's the go ahead? Oh, I thought you were going to say something, Rob.
Oh, I mean, 100 meters sounds pretty good. That's a good distance. I mean, you want to still get a sprint in. You could kind of use the 40-yard dash, but those get a little bit too close and a little bit too short. So, 100 meters is pretty fast.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought we have agreed upon, notions for these things that make enough sense. Like if you're like, who's the world's strongest? We have the world's strongest competition. You're like, who's the fastest?
yeah.
Also, wait, think about it. The 100-meter one, that's the one where they reach top speed. Like, that's the one they can reach highest speed. In that, like for example, in cars, they have it do a short thing, but they record the highest speed on it. So what was I think Usain Bolt's top speed was like 28 miles an hour or something. That there can be considered the fastest.
Okay. So you think it's more about like how we
Plus,
go ahead.
plus there is attack speed if you want to consider who can punch the fastest. There's also speed,
True.
not just running speed.
True, but that then we're starting to start getting that same thing like is the heavyweight MMA champion of the world the strongest man in the world?
Yeah.
Because nobody could like nobody can beat him.
Nobody in MMA can beat him.
I mean like it's when I say that I mean it's like if he was gonna to fight a boxer in open rules he'd probably win.
Well, we saw that with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, but they weren't in open rules. It was boxing rules.
And well, probably.
Because if McGregor had had the ability to do leg kicks and takedowns and submissions and stuff like that, may have been a different story.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from Mayweather. He's objectively, as far as his record goes, the GOAT.
Yeah, he's a very good boxer, but when it comes to MMA, you need the other stuff.
And it's like if we're talking about like how do we get as close to actual like full no holds barred combat, like what that means to be the strongest. I mean, like I feel like safely, MMA is probably the closest you can get to it.
Yeah.
Which
If
is
you
why
want lesser rules, you can do ballet to do.
yeah, which is why I think that like that question comes up in Baki, like who's the strongest? Because I mean, obviously, like Baki, there are probably characters who can lift more than him. You know what I mean? I don't think that he is the physically strongest athlete. He might be the fastest with the
Yeah, he can
cockroach
only
dash.
bench press 320 pounds, I think. Yeah,
No, he can't.
that's his bench press.
Whoa! Where'd you get that?
Really strong.
It was in a manga panel.
It was
But you
in
don't know if you can
it
do it
was
for
in the manga.
reps.
It was there in the manga. I think it was in the first few chapters.
Okay, are you talking about when he's going when he goes down into the basement
Yeah,
and all the
in the
stuff's there?
basement.
Yeah, they see a bench, but you don't
Yeah.
know if it's a max bench.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, true, and you also don't know how big the plates are because they were pretty thick.
But
Yeah.
they said 20 kilos.
Did they say 20 kilos?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
No, I don't.
think-
Not to my. If it's the panel that I'm thinking about, I don't think there's any numbers on them.
I'm feeling really much for Baki because he has to have superhuman strength.
Oh yeah, has to.
If he
Yeah.
Tiny probably just sneezed on him and killed him.
Now, mind you, a big portion of what Baki does is like, he's smaller body and he turns himself like into a freaking human bullet, and he also has the ability to he knows all the weapons he has available and all the vital points that he needs to hit to where he can end a fight quickly. But the man is not weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
He was able to headbutt through a wall in the Oliver fight.
Yep.
friend.
Oh yeah, and when he was 13 years old was like throwing hands with a gorilla.
Yeah. And jumped out like
Yeah.
chest deep water.
Oh yeah, seriously, that's a massive amount of power.
Yeah, I know. I've tried to do that once from a pool and it was just not happening.
I watched BJ Penn do that once. I think he jumped out of chest deep water. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. How much would you have to squat to just do that?
So it's that's not so much a function of how much you can squat. It's more about the ability to accelerate.
Yeah.
Because if, for instance, if someone could squat 700 pounds, but they can move that at a certain rate of speed. If you took that like weight away, they still may not be able to jump very high because their body's only used to moving at a certain rate of speed. Even though they're exerting a lot of power, they may not be able to turn it on very quickly. Does that make
So
sense?
it's not necessarily one
Yeah,
rep
that makes
max,
sense.
but at a faster speed.
Yeah, so that's why power training is typically at a moderate weight, um, and you do it with speed. So if you do like speed
Yeah.
deadlifts or like speed squats, it's always in the
Yeah.
middle range for your weights.
Didn't Bruce Lee used to do that sort of training? Basically, low weights and faster acceleration.
That was some of the stuff that he did. He was experimenting with a lot of different stuff because, you know, not very many people had started to apply bodybuilding principles to combat yet. Um, so
Yeah.
you know, he was like, "Well, let's go," and so he did a lot of bodybuilding stuff. He did a lot of circuit training, um, and what we would call like high intensity interval training for running.
Yeah.
Um, definitely ahead of his time as far as strength conditioning was.
The Western training.
Yeah.
In terms of combat.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling. That's why I said he took the Western style of training.
Yeah. But I mean, like even other combat sports at that time, like if you took collegiate wrestling or you know amateur boxing, they were still doing like massive amounts of calisthenics, running for long distance. You know, they weren't necessarily like they didn't quite understand the energy and like specific needs of that sport to be able to train like certain things.
I see. I don't know about
Plus, wasn't weightlifting a taboo
wrestling.
back then for combat strength?
Hold on one second, Rob. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I've seen a lot of books like from around that time or before that time where they were talking about specifically this. I was like, I don't know if Bruce Lee was before that exactly. Like they seem pretty on top of that.
Okay, what specifically are you referring to? Are you talking
Let's
about
see.
like in the 50s or the 60s?
I'm talking about old contract and stuff like that.
Because a lot of the old like conditioning stuff from like catch wrestlers, which I'm sure you're familiar with, um, you know, was a lot of like just a lot of like calisthenic stuff. Like, and there was some strength work, but it was like very odd.
Yeah.
A lot of like kettlebell stuff, or what do you call it? What is that big thing? Iron Mace?
Oh,
No,
like a club bell or like a Indian club.
yeah, like the Indian. Yeah, I'm about to leave out and come back in.
And Rob is gone, and now he's back.
Rob, you there?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's go.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, we were talking about like the, you know, just random stuff about Bruce Lee and his training methods at that time. I've got a couple of his books, like they're actually like his training logs or whatever. I'm sure you've seen them before. Um, but it was a lot of different stuff, and you could tell he was just like all over the place with trying stuff, which is cool because like the exercise science as a discipline wasn't as super strong back then. Um, you know, even in the past 30 years, it has monumentally evolved. Um,
Second, didn't Bruce
Yeah.
Lee? I'm not saying what he did wasn't good, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. He take some like recovery steroids medicines as
I
well.
actually can't speak to that. I did know that he used. I do know that he used cannabis, um, which whatever. But like as far as that's concerned, like I don't know anything about if he used any performance enhancing drugs.
We know he definitely took headache medicine, apparently.
Yeah, because apparently that was part of
Yeah.
the reason he died.
Yeah.
Um,
Is cannabis performance enhancing drug?
No, it is not a performance enhancing drug,
Pretty sure it's not.
but what it can do is it can help your recovery because it takes you out of a sympathetic state and puts you in a parasympathetic state, and also allows you to eat food.
Uh, so basically, relaxing yourself.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So especially if because I imagine Bruce was probably a pretty hyped up individual, um, so uh, getting to sleep was probably rough for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was training all day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you know what? And there are definitely that burns the candle at both ends for real. Because when I was in college, I was a like a training. I was addicted to training. Like if you had, I could probably have had to go to rehab for it. It was bad.
Did you actually get your
Yeah,
degree?
No. Like I my degree is in philosophy, but like I'm talking about like I spent the times that was not academic stuff studying fitness stuff and also working out almost continuously.
yeah. I
Um,
used to do a lot of overtraining before.
I really got to
I've
get that
like used.
philosophy degree.
Yeah, I had a hospital once, but the thing is now I've actually like done more research, found up done programming, and now because I'm in powerlifting,
yeah,
there's more fatigue, so I can't just do as much now.
my
Deadlifts, I'm doing them once a week now, so they can increase, and it has increased quite a lot.
good. Yeah, it's definitely for deadlifts or anything that you're going to pull off the ground at maximum or close to maximum strength.
Yep.
It's difficult for your CNS to recover.
Yeah, I know. I remember it used to be
Yeah.
fried all the time, and I was just like, just phasing out, just like zoning out all the time. I remember in school it wasn't very good.
Which for a record, if any of you guys are doing any of the programs like Broly or some other things that might have deadlifts multiple days a week on certain weeks, that second deadlift, if you have a program that has multiple deadlifts, that second deadlift day, maybe take your volume down like 15 25%, just so that you are not overkill.
Yeah, a volume thing is, you can also now peak for
Yeah.
competition. You have to increase weight but decrease volume, so you don't just destroy yourself.
Yeah, like I was saying, when I was in college, it was I was doing a lot of martial arts. I was doing like uh, in the morning I would go and hit the bag for several rounds, like sometimes like 10 or 12, and then I would go and if somebody was available for sparring, I would do that, and then later in the day I had a strength conditioning workout. And then I would go to 2 karate classes, and then if I had time in the evening, I would spar again. So it was
That's
really
really good.
insane. I was probably training some days up like 6 hours at a time, and as a poor college student who wasn't like the best nutritionally, it probably wasn't a good idea.
I'm just sitting here listening,
Yeah.
sweating, like, damn, that's supposed to be a lot. Like, oh man, that's not good.
Well, so it's also
You
about the
increase
level
what?
of intensity that you're putting into those sessions.
Yeah, things like no those sessions. I remember I used to do loads
Yeah,
of
you
cardio.
can have
They weren't as
a lot of
I was like running like
benefit.
30, 40 kilometers. Things, but it wasn't as intense. But it was more spread out. But like saying, doing like heavy deadlift, peaking. That's a lot of like squats, bench. That's a lot of intensity in a short time period.
Now, Rob, because MMA is such a high skill sport with so many different disciplines, you have to spend a lot of time in it. But you get around that by not having everything be at balls to the walls intensity.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of drills, working
Yeah,
on
that's true.
footwork. If you're always feeling like you are scraping the bottom of the barrel in your rounds, like or the work that you're doing, you're doing too much.
That makes sense.
What on that note though, like, what do you feel? How do you feel in your training? Do you feel okay, or you feel like maybe like some days you want to, jump in front of a bus?
I wouldn't say that. Said jump in front of a bus.
It'd be like,
That escalated so quickly.
if I have to go one more round.
I mean, never that. I'm ready to go home, but not like that.
Go home to Jesus.
Getting hit by a bus is not fun, okay? It's not fun.
Oh gosh.
The thing is, I
I've got
remember when
hit
I
by
was
a
doing a
bus.
bit of cutting, I would do heavy bag work, and I would be like, I'd do rounds, but it's like after like a 4 rounds, I'd be like feeling like dead, like I didn't want to do this anymore, but like still kind of had to. The thing is, like, yeah, I understand, like that, like high intensity cardio just takes it out.
Yeah,
It's
and
like different for like
especially if you're
sometimes weightlifting, it feels good.
Yeah. So it's like if you want to make a comparison to weightlifting or even like sprinting or something like that, something else that's very high intensity, you have to have sufficient rest periods in between your bouts of activity in order to be able to perform during each of those other bouts of activity at a high level. Now, obviously, there are set rest periods for boxing and MMA that you have to get used to. Um, so there's that, but at the same time, you can bring down your intensity of each of those rounds. You can shorten the number of rounds so that you can go harder. So like you could do 4 hard rounds instead of like, oh, I'm always going to do 12 rounds. You know what I mean? So that you're able to like focus more on intently on something rather than just being like running yourself in the ground.
Yeah.
Because
There's always different stuff you can work on with combat sports.
And honestly, that if there's if people could take something from combat sports, is that there's always something else you can work on in your other sports too. Like for instance, like powerlifters are like, I did my 4 sessions this week of super heavy lifting, and it's like, well, yeah, but you got 2 days you could do conditioning, which there's plenty of dudes that do conditioning in powerlifting. I'm not saying that powerlifters don't do conditioning, but it's like, do you guys also do
I mean, the
mobility?
thing is about powerlifting, sometimes if someone's like preparing for a comp, if you do not cut, just try and avoid cardio because you need that weight to be able to just
Sure,
perform meet day. Like,
sure. But I'm talking about like there's powerlifting conditioning. Like pull the sled, push the sled, flip the tire, that kind of stuff. Um, but that kind of stuff's going to help you recover faster if you are able to do it, or if are you working on your mobility? Because there's a lot of guys that just
Yeah.
completely ignore that portion, especially in powerlifting. God bless them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, some do. Like, I've got me and some people do like stuff like overhead squats, like a bit of a mobility routine, because like you do need it in powerlifting.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I think with and this is maybe an older sort of thing, guys. I only have to squat to parallel, so it's like they're only gonna squat to parallel.
Yeah, that's...
Or it's like
I mean, in comp you can, but things like in training, always try and go ass to grass.
But you do have like competition practice lifts that you're gonna do. It's like, so I'm gonna attempt what I'm gonna do for my opener and that kind of stuff in your comp or whatever. But like, so you got to be able to actually do that kind of stuff because you got to know what that depth feels like. But there's plenty of guys now, mind you. I'm mostly talking about like low skill guys that are beginning powerlifting, intermediate powerlifting, or intermediate like that kind of strength sports, and they're just so focused on like pick up heavier weight that they're not really understanding that there's more to the.
Oh.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hey, okay, he's out. You good?
Yeah, for some reason everyone it cut out.
Oh, weird. But yeah, in general, I just mean like I think that in learning from combat sports, or I'm gonna say a dirty word, even CrossFit stuff is kind of important, because the one thing that I do like about CrossFit is that it took a lot of different disciplines and said, let's learn from each other.
He's a very big fan of CrossFit.
I am not a big fan of CrossFit.
Okay.
Oh, see, you say that, but as someone who has been, following the website for a long time, like you said, there was a lot of CrossFit workouts
Okay,
in
there
there.
was definitely a
Yeah.
phase. There was definitely a phase. I ain't gonna lie. Like, but but everybody goes through phases.
A CrossFit phase.
A CrossFit phase. I dabbled.
It's like we all experiment sometimes with CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh Lord, not that. Why couldn't it have been drugs?
Should I call the Spanish Inquisition?
Oh man. No, I mean like I actually watched the CrossFit games this year. Like they may or may not. I think they're done now, but I watched several of the events, and honestly, they've gotten so much better with some of their form, because like if you watch previous years of CrossFit stuff, it's like awful,
Oh yeah,
awful.
the pull-ups.
Now they still do that because like it's about speed for a lot of stuff, so like they're still kipping and doing the butterfly stuff and whatever else. But like the thing that I saw the most improvement on this year was people's deadlifts. Not a
So the
lot of
pull-ups haven't changed.
no.
Oh good.
Yeah, that's still a big issue that I have with CrossFit in general, is that like they teach the butterfly and the kipping pull up and whatever, and it's like they're trying to teach that, and this is more of like an individual box sort of thing, but like they try to teach that stuff to people that have no business doing them. Like if you can't do strict pull ups, you've got no business kipping or doing butterflies. Like zero business. Because like, oh, I can do them, yeah, but you don't. Your muscles don't have the strength to be able to deal with that jerking motion that you're putting them through. So you're just like asking to tear something.
Is that where you feel it in your muscles?
What?
I mean, when I tried to do kip and pull-ups a few times, I just kind of felt it in my bones.
that
I was like, this is
may have been
very hard on the body.
that may have been a form issue, Rob. It's a very hip driven movement, so if you were moving from like your lumbar spine or something, that may have been the problem.
Well, no, I mean like my arm bones, not my back bones.
Okay. It's like I just
Like,
felt like they
you're
was
just
going.
kind of hanging on, and you're just kind of just whipping.
I mean, you right. That, but I mean, like it may have just been because there is a technique to it, and if you're not used to it, it's a little weird. I hate it, and I don't do it. I won't do it. The only time I will ever use a kipping thing is if I'm trying to do some kind of climbing.
We got to do it for muscle ups too.
Well, back when I was lighter, no. I used to do strict muscle ups. Because I was like, if I can't do a strict muscle up, it doesn't count. I think I did like 5 or 6 strict muscle ups on the bar and probably 7 or 8 on the rings.
Shit, that's a lot.
I think I was weighing 170 then. So many pounds ago.
That's still pretty big for you.
Bro, you know what I weigh right now?
I know, you're huge. You're like 5 feet tall.
I'm 5'7". Leave me alone. I'm 5.5 feet tall.
I mean, you're pretty bulky right now.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot
Especially
of.
compared to Rob.
I didn't even go to the
No
gym
offense,
today.
Rob.
I mean, as long as I can still look over him, it's fine.
Yeah, ain't nothing I can do to fix that one. Yeah, I didn't even go to the gym today because I didn't sleep. Like I was just awake all night for no reason. All right, back to the topic. We were talking about all these different sports and whatnot, and what does it mean to be strong? Something that I kind of at one point I was thinking about writing an article on, but like I never really finished it.
You had wrote an article about that, didn't you? About living in brutality. Isn't there an article like that?
Yeah, I did write an article about living in brutality, but this was more about like what does it mean to be like who is the strongest athlete in the world?
Ah,
And I was like comparing different stuff, so I went like world's strongest man. And then I went the guy with the heaviest powerlifting total, and then I went the guy with the heaviest Olympic lifting total, and then I went heavy.
Definitely not him.
Say what now?
No, I just said definitely not him.
Definitely not the Olympic lifting guy.
No, it's not him.
Okay.
He's got to get some other title.
I'm not sure what we would call it, but
speaking
like
about Olympic lifts,
because if you
do you think
listen to it, they will call him like like the strongest man in the world, like because like that's apparently like the standard.
Well,
Is
see,
lifting.
they missed the contest name, and it's too late for them now.
It's too
You
late.
gotta be like, I'm the best Olympic weightlifter. Yep, that's what you got. That's all you get.
Congratulations. You good at 2 lifts.
That's how important Brandon is right there.
And then I was like, okay, well, the heavyweight champion MMA, and then I was like, well, what about the guy who is the winner of the CrossFit Games? Like, or what about the guy who is the wins the decathlon?
It's also definitely not the winner of the CrossFit Games. Like, they don't get to be in the conversation. I don't know how they got thrown in there.
Because it was taking a broader concept of what it means to be strong.
Hey, look, we're gonna have to open up the concept all the way for that. I don't know how they got in there.
Because it's like
if we include CrossFit, we're gonna start including, I don't know, chess players.
dang.
We're gonna have to start
Damn.
including like Marines or something.
look.
Like, yeah, we're talking about mental strength now.
Well, no, I mean if you
That's
look at it though, as far as performance goes, like if you put the top 10 CrossFit athletes in the world against and you took all the other strength athletes that exist, and you had them go across and do all these different
Sure.
events, it's like
Yeah,
in general the CrossFit athlete
Yeah.
would come out on top
that's because CrossFit isn't even a strength sport. It doesn't count. It literally is. It doesn't count.
But I mean, like
we might
they
as well
do
throw marathon runners in there.
they do the movements though. So I mean, like they've got the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, the snatch, the clean.
In theory, I mean, in theory, it's a good idea. In practice, it's like, hey, I mean, David Goggins is over there. We might as well throw him in there.
Hey,
Like, yeah. What about extreme marathon runners?
I guess if you're talking about the guy that's the hardest, David Goggins would probably be on there. So
Yeah.
stay hard.
Yeah. He's with the CrossFit guys,
It's definitely a different sort of thing, but it was like what made me start thinking about it was the question of what does it mean to be strong, thinking about like when Ippo asked that question, or when in Baki where they talk about the strongest guy is the one standing at the end. That's what it means to be the world's strongest. Because you talk about like Hanma Yujiro,
Yeah.
is he can he lift the most weight?
Yes. Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Probably.
You can.
Yeah.
There's got to be
I don't think anyone would debate against that.
There's got to be somebody who's like, no. Pickle is physically stronger than him.
No, not at all.
He had to use a technique against him.
That doesn't mean anything.
It does because
That is against Baki.
No,
against
'cause
Yujiro.
No, but look. So if Pickle was fighting Hanayama, right, or they clashed in the street for a second, and he compared his strength to a Triceratops, right? If Yujiro goes and mushes Hanayama across the street, I feel like that should be pretty clear that Pickle definitely shouldn't be stronger than Yujiro.
But I don't think Piccolo. I don't think Pickle was taking that fight super seriously.
Did you get me saying Piccolo too?
Yeah. Dang. Too much Dragon
Piccolo
Ball.
can beat Yujiro. Yeah.
Yeah, Piccolo could definitely beat Yujiro.
I mean, even if he wasn't taking it serious, neither was Yujiro taking the fight with Hanayama serious.
No, but like, mind you, I'm obviously taking one scene and I'm applying it broadly. When they do the fist bump thing and they push against each other.
I think you're talking about Baki.
No.
Pickle.
When they first meet inside that cage,
No. I remember that. That was in the glass.
they push hands against each other, and Yujiro is forced to use a technique to deal with the overwhelming strength of Pickle. And it's just that one moment. It's just that one moment. So I mean, like it, it could be an outliers because feats are weird. You have to like chop off the outliers. That's why I don't, count
I
the.
mean, I feel like Yujiro also likes to mess with people half the time.
Yeah.
You have you read the most recent chapter? Of
What with the
Baki
where he's gonna fight the sumo wrestler?
Yeah, where he's actually like
The one who rolled Olivia into a ball,
man.
and again
Olivia-
Yujiro slaps him like it's nothing. Like I feel like the way the manga is scaling strength, like Pickle cannot be stronger than Yujiro at all.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe not now
Yeah.
because I don't think Yujiro's strength is static. I think it's constantly growing.
Well, I guess they did imply that too when he did that to, because before he did that to Hanayama, he had said like he'd be training like him. They just
Oop, you still there, Rob?
You should cut out.
Yeah, he cut out. Well, dang. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So like that was the main reason I even started writing that article in the first place. But it was such a broad topic that I really couldn't answer the question. There wasn't any definitive way for me to be able to say, oh yes, this is the strongest athlete in the world, because it's like, if is the person who has the strongest squat, yeah, they have the strongest squat, but somebody else has the strongest deadlift, and somebody else has the strongest bench, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what has the most value in terms of like an overall,
Total.
yeah. So I mean, like if I have the strongest, now, like for instance, if I had an insane bench press for whatever reason, I was just really really good at it, and I could raw bench press 1,000 pounds, but my squat and my deadlift were like 450. Like, you would not call me the strongest athlete in the world, like, because there's something inherent that the bench press is probably not as useful as the squat or the deadlift.
all right, there we go. Yeah, you got to just pick one.
Yeah, so
That's the best way to do it.
it's
That's why like bench.
Pick one and let people
competition-
disagree with it.
well, I think that's probably the philosopher in me, because it's like I don't want to come along and say this is absolutely the answer, because it's like, no, I can see how it's not the answer.
I mean, and I think brain matters a lot. Like I said, like I feel like if someone had a contest for the world's smartest man, and all they had to do was solve like a really weird Rubik's cube, I think that would still count. People would start calling the world's smartest man. So why not do it for everything else?
Okay, you don't think some people would call into question the validity of such a contest?
I mean, they would, but they would. Yeah, I mean, they'd be in the minority after a while. It works with the world's strongest man.
Yeah, but the world's strongest man is also like evolved as a sport itself, and it's like it covers a pretty wide variety of strength, things.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
saying
not
it has
just
to be a
one
really
event.
weird Rubik's cube. I got you.
Rubik's cube
That's
Wh-
still one event.
while playing Jeopardy, and chess.
All right, we'll make it 5 Rubik's cubes just for y'all.
Which one?
What's your obsession with Rubik's cubes?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
was
thing
actually
that smart
something
people do,
that's
right?
interesting.
No, I don't know, man.
No,
Like,
we saw all PNP cubes. PNP
Rubik's
problems.
cubes are easy
That's
when
all.
you learn the fucking you remember the algorithms.
Hey, look, man, I punch people. I don't know.
right. My son was
I'm
talking to
pretty
me
sure
about
you
like
choke people more.
my son was talking to me about all these like strategies to solve the Rubik's cube, and I was like, buddy, like, I don't know, man. Like,
There's fucking CFOP, F2L, Ruse. That's only for 3x3 though.
yeah, you're talking about stuff I have no clue about, and like, yeah, man, I just pick things up and put them down.
Same.
We'll throw a puzzle in there, maybe. Put together a picture puzzle.
5,000 pieces. Let's go.
They're like, who put this test together? A 5-year-old? Like, hey, look, smartest man. You can solve it, and then you can think of smarter stuff to put in.
Here we go. Now, you know what? You can have the title, and then next year we'll come up with something better. I promise. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's also similar to the question of what does it mean to be strongest 10 men. That's a usual trope, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I know, but nobody is actually as strong as 10 men.
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
in real
what 10
life,
men are we
yeah.
picking?
When you say 10 men, you're talking about like the average dude.
How about 10 babies?
I think I mean,
You know what?
I feel like 10 guys might be able to barely lift 1,000 pounds. If they're having a pretty bad day, I think they might not be able to do it.
I mean, like
Yeah,
if you
maybe.
look at like the average deadlift of the untrained person, they should be able to do that.
So what is average deadlift for like an
In
adult male?
theory.
If you want that answer, you can watch my "What Would Happen If You Went Super Saiyan" video.
I can just Google it.
Well, see,
No,
I feel
let's
like
get more
Google
traffic to that video,
always.
guys. Go watch that video. Don't Google it. Watch the video. Get more views.
Well, my thing about Google is that
155 pounds.
Yeah,
Jesus,
that's assuming a
nothing.
lot, though. Like, I don't think it'll be that high for a lot of people.
my 120-pound 13-year-old son deadlifted 165, not even like paying attention.
See, but
Remember,
he lifts weights with you, though.
I deadlifted 225 when I was 15. No, 14.
So it's like
We're talking about the average untrained male.
Yeah, and there is a bottom level of strength that
I mean,
you're
like,
not taking into
also
account.
things like call it bone length and like things because you can have leverages. What do you call it?
Certainly, yeah.
Like I've got long ass arms. Like look here, right here. My arms almost go down to my knees.
Holy crap, you do got some long arms.
So like deadlifting for me is easy. I can already deadlift almost like 2.5 times my body weight.
They put that on job requirements for a reason.
You and your bench press though.
Yeah, my bench press is like 65 kilos.
But that's okay though. You only weigh like what 70 kilos?
Kilos, like at most.
How much?
I feel like 60 to 62.
Oh, okay, yeah. So your body weight bench press, so you're fine.
Okay.
Yep.
At least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've kind of like referenced some anime stuff. I feel like we've gone more in the Baki direction a couple of times, but that's probably pretty fair considering who I'm talking to.
Baki is also the strongest. There you go.
Yep.
But
Yujiro just decided to claim the title.
But is he though? Is Baki really?
I mean, are you gonna argue with Yujiro?
See, that's why I said
Yeah,
that's
don't
how much
argue with
branding
him.
matters right there.
But I mean, like,
Yujiro came up and was like, "I'm the strongest," and everyone was like, "Well, you know what? Since you put it like that, sure you are."
But then he said Baki was the strongest. But I ain't gonna argue with Yujiro.
but the
That
fact
too.
but the fact that you won't argue with him sort of speaks volumes about who's actually the strongest.
Yujiro also took that back like around the same time Musashi showed up, I think. I don't know why the writer wanted to do like that.
Motobe Izu defeated. What was it? Motobe? He defeated what do you call it? Musashi.
Yeah.
No, but if honestly though, if you look at it, they're still acting narratively like Baki's the strongest because Yujiro warms people up for Baki.
Yeah.
Now,
I wouldn't word it like that, but sure.
No, I'm now. It's not like he's a job.
That's a way to word it
He's
right
not
there.
like he's a jobber. It's not like he gets like beat down, and then Baki beats him. It's just reminding you. This is Yujiro.
Well, Momonosuke, then what do you call it? Sumo guy had to put Baki first, then Yujiro.
Sure. I guess I'm talking about.
I still don't know why Yujiro even showed up to fight him.
I don't even know. Ain't no reason.
I guess he just be bored sometimes.
Well, you know what? He probably ain't got nothing. He probably didn't have anything better to do.
It's like I really ain't had nothing to do.
He's like,
Yeah.
I watched all my Netflix.
Killed all the endangered animals.
It's like there ain't no big giant bears no more. No giant elephants. None of them. Nobody.
Yeah. And the praying mantis is imaginary.
Well, yeah, he did, but he didn't fight that.
Yeah, he did.
He's gonna
That's
find
right.
out about that later.
he's gonna he's gonna be mad. It's like, what do you mean I didn't beat a praying mantis? He's like, I'll imagine one right now. Say I won't imagine it.
The thing about something weird about that scene is Baki was like grabbing it from the top and it was moving around. So canonically, Baki can fly.
You are correct.
He was doing a rear naked choke
Yeah.
on it while it was in the air.
Yeah. Baki
How?
characters can do a lot of things that they don't mention. And they
Although
kind of just
he was
glance past
floating.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, technically going by that, Baki's also an illusionist, so you know, hey.
because other people can see the stuff that he's imagining.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like it's one of those things where it's like it takes a plausible premise of something and then blows it up into absurd.
And then Olivia it could also be, you know, what do you call it? A telepath. Since apparently, you know, he's over here sending people what his muscle looks like. Just sends them an image.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
when it's like this would happen if I stopped flexing.
Yeah.
That was some crap right there. Oh, I'm walking around flexing all the time, and if I wasn't, it would like be this massive explosion of muscle.
I can't wait to see that animated and see what people say about
It's
that.
it's in the intro.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I want to see like the whole episodes so people know what's going on.
Which
We're
that
like, wait
makes
a second, what?
that makes the him getting beat by Tsukune even dumber.
Yeah.
It's like
That
how
could make for a horror movie. That entire scene.
his that man's grip strength is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the third strongest grip strength now. Ain't that something?
Do you think? Wait, you don't think? Do you think Hanayama is got more grip strength than him?
He better.
Hanayama,
That's his entire thing.
Excuse me, that's his
Pretty
one
sure
thing.
Hanayama has the strongest
He-
grip strength.
That's his
He better.
only thing.
How dare you?
I felt you were offended for him.
I mean, I
Don't you
think
say
Hanayama's
that?
got the strongest potential for grip.
He should, yeah.
I mean, like, if given the right, what do you call it, like, circumstances, and like
Well, besides Yujiro, I
theoretically,
guess.
he
We don't
could
count
turn coal
Yujiro.
into diamond.
That's
Yeah.
what they said.
There's a bit of physics that won't really work, but like theoretically, he should be able to.
Oh
But
man,
like, if he did it, the coal would just crush.
yeah. I
into,
mean,
like,
like,
dust.
yeah. So it doesn't really work.
Theoretically, he can produce enough to do that.
So what are you saying that he has stronger grip than Hanayama?
Who, Sukune?
I think Hanma's saying that.
I'm not, because I'm confused how Sukune can turn it into diamond by gripping so hard that it doesn't break.
That's just how strong his
Remember-
grip is. You just gotta accept it.
Man, even Superman needed heat vision to do that.
That's
Yeah.
on Superman.
Like,
That
the thing is, like, Yujiro crushed a coal into dust.
I mean, I kind of stopped doubting anything they said with Hanayama when they turned him into like the main character of Yakuza.
Yeah.
He's over here taking out sharks as he swims, which also, you know, really shouldn't be possible. But you know, apparently he did it.
It's Hanayama.
How am I going to disagree with
that's
being able to
true.
reach inside of a giant shark's brain and crushing it?
Fair enough.
I mean, sharks
Yeah,
have tiny
and it-
brains.
That's not the part. That's
You know,
the rest of that is the problem.
Hanayama
mean,
doesn't even
sharks
really
have no
train
arms.
either.
No, he does. That's what I was saying earlier. Like that's why Yujiro said that before Yujiro decided to slap him across the street.
Yeah.
You know, before he sent him to the store to get some chips for him. You know, he was like, people think we don't train, but you know, we train all the time in secret.
Secret training. That's
You know,
the
he
best.
kind of implied that.
That's the best kind of training.
Off-screen training.
You gotta let people think you don't train so you can surprise them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
he's
then.
got like he doesn't need to train as much as other people. He's got like 10 times the test than a normal person would have.
Yeah, which is interesting. I'm a little bit because I mean, like, there are bodybuilders who have more than that with the gear that they take.
Do they? Because I feel like you kind of die after a
No,
while.
man, there's dudes that are
I'd be too
blasting
high.
like 10,000 units a week.
I think there might be like a point of diminishing returns.
Oh, there definitely is a point of
I
diminishing
mean, if you
returns.
know what happened to Andres Munzer, he died a horrible death.
Oh yeah, is that the
Internal
guy?
bleeding?
Yeah, is that the
tumours
dude
in his
whose
liver.
his organs got too big for his insides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, so there's a point in which your organs start to undergo hypertrophy, and then you basically suffocate yourself.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It was. And he didn't even win Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, it's a rough thing, and dudes, abuse the stuff because it's difficult because not everybody responds to anabolics in the same way. Because you have people who are hyper responders and then people who are just like don't respond very well at all.
No, wait, hold up.
Sorry, what?
But nothing, just continue talking.
Oh, and so like you have dudes that take, let's just say 1,000, they're taking a gram a week and they're monstrous. And then a dude that's taking a gram a week and he's not even half as big, because it's just like they're
Yeah, but you get genetic hypersoners with gear. Like, hold up, there was this like all place one days video about it. Hold up, there was this guy here. I'll post it.
yeah.
That's like hyper responding to gear. Like, not good baseline genetics, kind of whack, but then responding to gear at Mr. Olympia level.
Yeah, which is very interesting because it's like prior to gear, not very good, but then having a really crazy ability to respond to the gear to the point where you.
Is that not very good?
Oh no! We're talking about the left side.
Yeah, I'm saying is the left side not very good?
Not for bodybuilding.
Yeah,
no.
it's kind of
Assuming he
whack.
wasn't taking any steroids before that?
His
Yeah,
ribs.
no, not for bodybuilding at all.
Assuming he wasn't taking any
He wasn't
steroids
getting-
before that?
Yeah,
That's not good?
No, that's awful.
I'm getting
that's
y'all
not good.
therapy. I'm getting all of y'all therapy.
It's a specific sport, man. I mean, like
No, you all need therapy. Go to therapy.
like no, I'm saying he's in good shape. If I saw that man walking down the street, I'd be like, okay, he's in pretty good shape. But it's like
He
if
just needs a bit more mass.
He
He
needs-
just
yeah,
needs a
He
bit more
looks
mass,
like a
actually.
bodybuilder. He is on stage competing.
no, I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
in the
well,
arms,
that's
but,
just
like, in
because
the
he's
torso,
lean.
Not really.
That's
He's
just-
a natural bodybuilder. Like for a natural bodybuilder.
okay. Now I'll give you if he's in a natty competition. If he was on a
bodybuilders, there's many guys who are way bigger than him.
true, no, that's
Yeah.
very true. But if he's in a natty competition and this is like maybe he's in the novice division, cool, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, novice. Okay, that's okay. I mean, his arms are okay.
But
Getting y'all therapy.
his lats are super small. His chest is tiny.
Yeah, I know 16. Like, even I'd say some people I know who are like teenagers have bigger lats.
You see
than him.
the
But
yeah
that's
his
also, like, that's
his
also could be insertions. Like,
yeah, but no,
Well,
but you know it. You know
this
it's
sport
this
sounds
could be a
horrible
bad
for you.
photo.
you
I'm
know
getting all of you therapy.
you know it's but
this
you know
could be
it's
a
not
bad photo.
true. But you know it's not the insertion and the origin of the muscle because when he's on gear, look how big his lats are.
Yeah, I know, but they're still actually high lats.
They
Like,
are pretty
it's-
high.
When you have a lot of mass on a high lats, they will look better. But like when they're quite small, low ones will look wider.
But like the shape of his muscle is dramatically different across the chest, the lats, on the V taper. It's super different. But yeah, and for those of you who can't see it, it's a pretty like big difference.
Are you making a video out of this?
No. Like people listening obviously can't see it. So we're talking about a dude that's like, I might put it in the like the thumbnail.
Yeah, I'm
of the
saying like,
video.
what medium are you putting this on?
Oh, I'm gonna put it on YouTube and on Spotify, but I'm gonna wait to put it on Spotify till we have a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, you can add a picture on YouTube, then just throw it in
I
there.
mean, yeah, you can put pictures at.
Yeah,
certain
I'm just gonna
times.
put it in. I'll put it in there at some point, but like the people that are listening on Spotify won't be able to see anything.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Spotify doesn't have video now. I thought they did.
Oh, I don't know.
What if I never had a video? What do you
No,
want?
but he.
What? They got Joe Rogan with video. That's what he keeps saying.
Yeah, I mean that they may. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, they got video episodes now. Or maybe it's just for Joe Rogan. I don't know.
But you know, I don't actually
just
like
Joe Rogan, it's too
listen
big.
to the Joe Rogan podcast. I always get like clips of it later. Like, so I don't actually listen to it when it comes out. Okay, so let's round this back to the initial topic and get everybody's opinion on what you think it means to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
It can be at at whatever you is philosophic, or whatever as you want to take it. But like when I say to you, what does it mean to be strong? What does that mean to you? And I guess we'll start with Rob since we started with Asher at the beginning.
Just in that definition, I guess, to be able to overcome adversity, whatever kind that is.
Okay. So being able to overcome obstacles in your way, or whether
Yeah, whether it's, lifting weights, you got cancer,
okay.
Anything between that spectrum,
What about the CrossFit games?
except for CrossFit. If you do CrossFit, you're eliminated.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
everyone counts except for them.
Oh, good to know.
Okay.
All right, Hanma.
Especially the pull-ups don't count either.
Exactly.
Hanma, what does it mean to be strong?
I'd say just being able to respond well to stress, whether it's physical, mental. Saying like responding to stress, like doing 4 or 5 deadlift, squat. That's really responding to stress, but in bad situations, you're able to still get through that well. That's also being strong.
Okay.
Just being able to respond to stress well is strength, I'd say.
Okay.
Overall.
I like that definition. That's cool.
But it's like the idea of saying like, oh, maths is not one thing. Like, there's many sub things inside of it, but it's all considered maths. Like same thing with strength.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, Ashura, what you got?
So there's a quote from a game that I've been playing. So it basically goes like this: strength is the ability to make your vision a reality.
Ooh.
That's what I believe.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Strength is the ability to make your vision reality.
Vision a reality. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. For me, when I think about strength, I think about control. You have control over weight, you have control over your emotions, you have control over a situation, control over another person. It's the ability to exert control.
Yeah.
Because when I think about when you talk about two people interacting with each other, the stronger person you have somebody who may be like difficult to deal with. The stronger person is the person who is able to deal with them effectively, and bring about whatever, like you were saying, whatever they want to happen in that situation.
Yeah.
But it requires that they control themselves in order to do so, because if somebody's just a complete jerk to you, but you know that you need to work with them in order to get something accomplished, you could let your ego say, well, no, I'm not going to take that kind of abuse, and you fly off the handle and now you get in a fight. Or you could say, all right, no, I'm going to control my reaction and I'm going to do what needs to be done. And that's not to say that there are not different kinds of strength, but I feel like that control is a large aspect of what it means to be strong.
So you're saying jujitsu people will be the strongest athletes then? I got you. Or wrestlers. I see where you're going with this, and I like it.
Dude, no, listen, as far as combat athletes are concerned, wrestlers are like the strongest, like, period.
Yeah.
Because
you've made your decision.
Now, mind you, like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have this one. I'm gonna let you have this one. You know, if you look at like athletically, like wrestlers are like crazy strong. Like you look at
You know what's funny? That's why I said earlier they were doing that before Bruce Lee.
no, I mean
Like,
I
Bruce Lee
got
started copying from them.
they definitely hold on one of there's a Baki character after him Carolyn,
Yeah.
that man,
Yeah.
who that was a dangerous man. Be you laid flat on the floor, he just pick you up and throw you.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot harder than you would think too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's you have to pick up the whole weight of somebody, which is one thing, and then they're moving around and resisting, and it's live. It's a live load. It's yeah. It's a whole crazy. And if you've ever seen any pictures of him doing the Carolyn lift, like the intensity in that man's face is insane.
And then there are people who wrestle animals.
Yeah.
That's called bestiality.
No, that.
No. Oh God.
You know, there are people who
Wrestling is different from reproduction. Okay.
now, but for when people are wrestling animals, though, the animals almost always at a disadvantage because
Animals, I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah, we
people
use
also don't
drums.
remember that animals, they aren't always completely stupid. Like they know how to play with people.
yeah,
I mean, like, even humans are animals, and we got dumb humans, like, they're called Americans,
bruh,
but like, a lot of animals are intelligent, or some of them that's simple enough, just like a bear. It's not, it doesn't have to be smart, it's just swipe your head off with one hit.
oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like, oh, you see people that are wrestling the bear, and it's like, you know, if that bear at any point decided that he was done, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like when people are wrestling bulls, it's like when they wrestle the bulls, most frequently they've got a hook through the bull's nose to put that animal at a disadvantage. You know, very infrequently is have I seen anybody wrestle a bull and not have that be the case.
I mean, I've seen that a few times, but you know, a lot of times I think they're used to doing it so much that I feel like it's not like they're beating the bull. It's more like, you know, they're just kind of used to doing it.
Yeah, I got you. But like if you took the ring out of the bull's nose, are you still going to be able to control it like that?
I thought you meant just like them wrestling the bull to the ground.
Yeah, but like you know, most of the time when they do that, they've got that ring through that bull's nose.
No, I haven't seen too many of those.
No, I've seen a lot of that.
Then again, I'm not really looking for the nose ring. I just see them grabbing the horns.
Have you ever seen the video of I'm sure you have of Oyama fighting the bulls?
Oh, there's video of that?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's only like probably less than 10 seconds of footage, but oh yeah,
let
he's
me,
like freaking like punching it and like doing
time is a little different.
hold on, I'm about to look at that right now that you mentioned it. Well, let me see. How big is this bull? This bull?
It's not huge, but it's still a bull. It's not like a freaking Brahma.
I thought you said he was fighting a bull. I'm looking at him wrestle a bull.
That is fighting.
This is animal cruelty. That's what that is.
Actually, yeah, that he said
Yeah.
that later. He said he regrets doing it because he said that was cruelty.
It's also
That-
I mean, I guess it's too old to be fake.
Who won?
Yeah.
Well, he in the course of he apparently like set up shop next to a butcher, like a place where they slaughtered the slaughterhouse, and over the course of like 3 years, he apparently killed 50 bulls.
Yeah.
Like if it's the video that I'm looking at now, like the bull, I see the nose ring thing he has on there. Like he's already pulling it around. Like I mean, I guess him killing the bull with the punch is supposed to be the impressive thing.
So yeah, some of them he had apparently chopped off one of their horns with a knife hand strike.
Mhm.
And also, he killed several bulls. He at least killed one bull with one punch, like a single strike.
Yo, he's Saitama.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever watch some videos of him in his older age, sparring with the young dudes, he breaks people. Like there's quotes of people saying when you sparred with Oyama Sensei, um, if he blocked you, he broke you. If you blocked him, he broke you.
Yeah.
Because like he and what's terrible is like the man was like he was attacking with like blocks. Like the dude came in for something, he just threw a down block into the dude's midsection and collapsed him.
Oof.
Hmm.
And I believe it because like I've met some old karate dudes who have freaking arms and hands like stone.
I don't believe it. I need to see it.
Oh, there it is.
And I didn't believe it either. Look, there was like it was this old one of my old instructors. He was probably 65, and you know, pot belly, not in good shape, you know, whatever else. But that when that man put his hands on you, you thought maybe your life was going to end.
Yeah.
You're like, please just don't kill me.
I'm gonna need to pull up on him. I gotta see it for myself.
I think he's probably dead now.
Guess he lost that fight then.
You can't win them all.
I'm gonna count that as a win.
You can't win them all. It's like
Or you can go to his grave and dig him up.
anybody who Rob has not fought, who has died before Rob fought them, Rob took that victory.
Yep, that's a win for me.
Rob
I'm gonna
is
die and go to the afterlife. They're gonna be like, "Hey, man, we heard what you were saying."
Rob is like 30,002.
Yep.
That's a hell of a record. Cool. Well, thank you guys for doing this thing here. I know it took a little while to get everything started up, and it actually went pretty well overall. I was worried that we were going to have audio issues. But did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much for listening to this first episode of the Anime Trainer podcast. It's like I said, it's just people who are in our Discord who are going to be able to talk about random topics. We've got a lot of specialists and things who'll be able to give their insight on these different topics, so that'll be fun. Yeah. Until next time, guys, good luck and train hard.
Yeah.
All right.